There it is. Paul, I didn't know if you were going to do it. That's awesome.
Look,
We got him.
You interrupted me. And before we get any far in this podcast, you're about to leave again. Please fix the damn intro picture so it shows everything, so it don't look. I mean,
listen,
we're like 60 episodes in, and we look like this is the first time you started this podcast back when you didn't even know how to talk to a camera.
Listen, I did send an email. So today I tried to update our opening sequence. And for some reason, StreamYard, the program we use, won't accept the file. All this technical stuff. But I did send an email, and I'm waiting to hear back because you're absolutely right. And I did a new one. You already saw it, Paul. You know the new one shows the whole logo. I'm Alex with Swamp Rat Fishing.
No. Hold up. Don't start the podcast yet. No, it's just like everything else you've done with the Patreon and all this other shit. And I know we ain't 2 minutes in yet, but the hell with some monetizations, because I'm pretty sure our guest ain't gonna get us no damn money anyway. You ain't told me nothing. You just be doing stuff and surprising me on the podcast.
Listen, speaking of, we're gonna skip past names. We're already past that. You got Swamp Rat and Jabberhammer. Speaking
whoa,
of,
that's not my name tonight.
The song of my people. You are correct.
And you probably don't know the meaning of this name yet.
I don't.
Well, our guest tonight is going to enlighten us.
All right. So our guest tonight is Blaine Upton, New Canoe ambassador, I guess you'd call him. And he also runs the Palmetto State Kayak Bass Fishing Tour. They're a KBF affiliate. Super excited to have him on. Before we get to him, though, I've got two announcements. One, look at this sick shirt, Paul. Sight Fishing. Where's it at? I can't even do this properly. Listen, everybody go find Mike Goes Fishing. He's got new shirts that are out there. And they're great. They're awesome. He's been a longtime friend of the show, so go show him some love. Also,
he was like our second guest or third guest, right?
He was the second guest. So, or no, I'm sorry. You're right, Paul. Third guest. But also, speaking of shirts, I've got some exciting news. If you guys haven't,
First time I'm going to hear it.
It is the first time you're going to hear it. So
I know.
If you go to, it's going to be, by the time this comes out, it's going to be 2 weeks ago. Myself and Paul were both on the Hoodlum Cast, the Hookset Hoodlums web show. And they debuted a piece of art.
It was last week, not 2 weeks ago. It's last week.
Yeah, but by the time this airs, they're already going to have an episode out. So it's 2, right?
I don't know. Your math is as bad as mine. We'll call it whatever it is. A week and a half.
Josh from Hooked Up North surprised Paul and everybody on that show.
Do you have a picture?
I don't have a picture, but here's the reason.
How do you debut a shirt without a picture?
We're not going to debut it. What happens is, as this airs, you're going to need to go over to Hooked Up North, to his Instagram. By the time this airs, he's going to have a post up. And we are doing a collaboration with Hooked Up North and Wizco Bait Co., where they're selling this shirt that's got Paul's face on it. And it says, "Listen, y'all."
No, it says, "Y'all look."
Y'all look.
Oh, my God. Right. Josh, I apologize for you giving Alex the job to introduce this shit, because he has done fucked it all up. I mean, no picture in a good
There's
person.
There's no picture yet.
And a good person would have thrown up here on the screen for all YouTube listeners and watchers a link, but I guess all that shit's gonna be down at the bottom.
It'll all be at the bottom. So how about an apology, Paul?
No, because you can't even get the wording right. I'm excited. That shit took my breath away. Like, it took me a couple minutes. I had to go on my phone. And look at it and be in awe. I mean, it was crazy. I should have known something was up when Ken kept telling me I had to be on the hooks. I'm like, y'all keep scheduling this shit on the same nights. We got Bass and Brews. I mean, y'all know better than that.
So go follow Hooked Up North. He's going to have the design. I do know it's going to have the Wizco Bait Co. bait and the Bass and Brews logo. Both those logos are going to be on the shirt, on the back, and then Paul's face and the phrase up front. So definitely go to Hooked Up North. I'm so excited for that shirt. I cannot wait.
Hey, we got to give shout out to who actually made the shirt.
That would be Lady of the Lund, Hooked Up North's wife. Sam. Yep.
Sam. This is Sam's creativity. I love her.
She's awesome. And they've got some big things going on over there. I can't wait to see how their side hustle is going to turn into something mega, basically based on your face, which is going to be awesome. So,
well, pretty much. I mean, we know damn well, good and well, that she's the one designing and actually doing all the work for the jigs. And Josh is just like, oh, okay, so these 3 colors go on this jig. She's like, yeah, and smacks him across the face and says, "Make those jigs, Josh." Skinny bitch.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to our games. We've got Blaine Upton.
Wait,
on
you
board.
said 2 things. That was only 1.
No, that was 2. That was the Mike Goes Fishing shirt. Go give him a checkup, and then the new shirt coming out.
And Hooks at Hoolums. God forbid we forget.
Well, we have that in the opening now. Remember, we have the canned.
I don't listen to or watch this podcast, so I have no idea what happens unless it's live.
It's good to know your devotion to the show. Thank you, Paul.
I mean, look.
I don't listen to it either. If I'm on it, I don't listen to it either.
Well, I can't remember what I say on this thing, and I damn sure don't want to be responsible for remembering by listening to it.
Well, everybody should listen up now. We've got Blaine Upton. Let's bring him in. Blaine, how are you, buddy?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
It's going good.
Man, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, dude. Everything been going all right?
It's been going all right, man. You from South Carolina, ain't you?
Right in the dead center, the Columbia area, right here on Lake Murray. Do a little kayak fishing and bass boat fishing around here, and run some tournaments where I can. And we've got, I don't know, we average about 40 people a tournament at Palmetto State. So I mean, it's growing. It's not huge yet, but we're getting there.
Now, you said the middle of the state, but you ain't necessarily in Columbia. You from somewhere else that you say people don't know where you from.
That's very true, man. You tell people you're from Chapin, South Carolina. I got 2 stoplights, 3 grocery stores, 2 Mexican restaurants. That's about it.
Now, how you spell Chapin?
It's Chapin. So 99% of the people read it and say Chapin, but it's not. It's Chapin.
But and you know where MacB is because what's MacB famous for?
Oh, Lake Robinson, baby.
I know, the nuclear plant, man. the hot water hole. The hot water hole. And people be calling MacB McB all the time. I'm like, no, it's MacB. The little C's on the bottom. If it was Mac, will little C be on top?
Exactly.
All right, so Blaine,
what? I don't understand how you from Chapin be on Bass or Brews.
Man, like I said, I reached out to Alex on TikTok, man. I saw some of the videos coming out.
Where the fuck did he go?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. He damn introduced us and came on the podcast and disappeared.
Dipped out.
I'm still here.
That's how he does. He makes these announcements and then he disappears.
Damn it, you got me. Damn it. And Blaine, you were in on it. Come on. Damn it.
We could have held on a little longer, I feel like.
Golly.
I didn't expect him to come back on so quick.
I know, it was like that. I was like, man, he must have lightning fingers over there.
God, it's a bad day when 2 Southerners troll the shit out of me.
Alex, we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this shit since this morning too.
Oh, you fuckers! You fuckers!
I could tell right away. Alex was like, "What the fuck's going on?" I can't. Why? You could tell if you're not listening or watching. If you're listening to the podcast, just go watch the first 9 minutes of this. Alex's face as I keep talking and talking. He's like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
That was pretty good. Good.
Hey, Blaine, I told you, if he signed off and back on, that was the goal.
Well, and that was what I
Goal.
was worried about. That was my whole thing. I was like, dude, what if he like signs off or like ends the podcast? And you're like, that would be perfect.
We can't end it because I'm here. I got those controls too. All right, Alex.
Sorry, dude.
So we can continue with the beginning of the podcast as usual.
No, I mean, you covered a bunch, so you run. God, I still can't believe I got hoodwinked. Such bullshit.
You got hoodlummed.
Yeah,
Blaine,
right. Hoodlummed.
Blaine needs to be a Hookset Hoodlum member at this point. He has hoodlummed an original hoodlum.
Man. All right, so you run the Palmetto State Kayak Bass Fishing group.
Alex,
you mentioned you guys are small but growing.
Time out. Alex, if you're going to have notes, put them behind the computer and stand them up so you can not tell that you're reading off the notes. You should have this shit memorized. I don't have no notes. I don't even know where my whiteboard is.
Paul's killing me. I
don't even know.
I hate you so much right now, Paul. Just trying to make sure you already gave me. Hold on, you already gave me crap because I messed up a phrase. Now I'm trying to be more professional, but now you're getting me because I do a slight look over. Come on.
You've looked over 100 times. It's like you got Tourette syndrome over your left shoulder.
All right, you run Palmetto State Kayak Bass Fishing. You're small, but you're growing. What made you decide to get into all of that?
She said.
So you're killing me, dude. Nothing will throw you off like one of those. All right, that's also what she said. But anyways, yeah. So I was basically asked to be, because I was one of the only guys from the Midlands of South Carolina. There's a lot of upstate guys in our club, and we run statewide. So they asked, they wanted kind of every area to have some sort of representation. So they asked me to be on there, and I got on there. And at the time, they were old school. It was cash at ramp, come in with the pictures on your phone. We check everybody's phone. You touch 100 phones or, 50 phones, whatever it is. And so we decided this year to move to an app. Got us on Fishing Chaos. Got going on that. So since then, everything's been a little bit more clean. The only problem I found with it is that can't really fish my own events anymore or our events anymore because A, you have access to a lot of information, and B, someone's got to be sitting at home to judge 70 to 100, 150 fish.
Mm-hmm.
But so this is the way that I look at it is if you're going to be a TD, you either a TD or not. Like you can run a club and not be the judge.
Yeah.
And there's folks out there you can pay to judge, but there's some other folks that maybe you can train over time to get them in there because in both of our local clubs, the tournament directors, which are the guys that run the club, are like, I want to fish. I'm like, hell yeah. You should. So you need to spread those duties out. And obviously you'll know this. Vinny with Queen City, it's a huge club, huge. But he does that, Some tournaments he judges, some he fishes, and the ones he fishes in he doesn't judge, and that's how it should be.
He and I are real close, man. Like we talk a lot. He's helped a lot in helping grow our club, man. It's so cool that in the kayak fishing community that we have that. It's not a rivalry, it's a brotherhood, and everybody's trying to help everybody get bigger. But at the same time, man, Vinny's grown the biggest grassroots kayak club in the nation. And there's no close second that comes off the top of my head.
Non-motorized club. What are they averaging this year? Last year's 117. I think it's more this year to this point.
To this point, talked to him yesterday, averaging 150.
Whoa.
Yeah, average payouts. I think they're at almost $2,000 a tournament for first place, and this is something he built from the ground up. And
no motors.
Actually, no motors. And he actually sponsors our club as a KBF affiliate. Basically, if you are the highest finishing man-powered angler in our club, he gives you free entry into his next event. So,
that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's encouragement both ways, both clubs to fish with each other. So
Yeah, so y'all go check out Queen City if you hadn't. If you're local to South Carolina, North Carolina area, Queen City's based out of Charlotte, but they do fish a lot in South Carolina. Obviously, those Charlotte area lakes. They're coming to Jordan this year, which is awesome. So yeah, if you're listening, you're Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia. There's a lot of Georgia anglers that fish that stuff as well. East Tennessee, I guess, could maybe fish Lake James and some of those tournaments. So y'all go check them out for sure. They're a jam up club. Vinny does a good job.
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that you got involved in this. You being a definitely younger than me and Paul, but you being a younger guy, getting into it. This is what's going to be the back of this community. It's not going to be the 40 and up, right? It's the younger crowd coming in, and it seems like there are younger folks. Let me finish the statement first, Paul.
He's already taken offense.
Listen, there's for this to keep getting bigger, we need the younger folks involved, and you. I think that's awesome to get involved, to take ownership in it. Like I think that's really great, and it's gonna prove that this sport's here to stay for a long, long time.
Being the only 40 and above person in this conservation, I take offense to you saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to go there, ain't nobody putting nothing on either one of y'all little short, skinny ass backs.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. You just said something about putting everything on your back.
I didn't say that. I said that he backs it.
Both of y'all like 4'8", 110 pounds.
I'm 6'4", 200 pounds, dog. I'm a tall guy.
Well, first of all, nobody asked you, Blaine. This is our podcast.
Man, I'm just going to defend myself.
That's it, Blaine. You're on my side now. Yeah.
Hey, you're 6'4", Blaine. You're 6'4". You know how many Alexes you are? You're 2.39 Alexes at 6'4".
He's about right. But I think it's awesome that you're getting involved. Before you started doing kayak fishing, did you do big boat fishing or anything like that?
Yeah, so basically I did a lot of stuff in high school. So I started my high school's bass fishing club. So that's kind of where all this came from, man. I've been doing this since I was in high school. So I started our little bass club, which today has grown to be pretty big. I'm no longer involved, obviously, because don't ever get in high school.
You from South Carolina, you still could be involved.
You could still be involved. He could still be
depends
a senior.
on how many grades I missed.
You 26 years old. There's potential out of South Carolina to still be in high school.
But yeah, I mean, I fished those bass boat tournaments growing up, and then went to college, sold boat for tuition money, dropped out of college, was a marine mechanic for 3 years, and then after that, I was like, I'm tired of fishing off the bank. I still loved it, and found kayak fishing. And when you first find kayak fishing, it's like, okay, sun dolphins, whatever. And then you get into the big brand names and stuff like that. And it hooks into you just like big boat fishing does, man. And I just go ahead.
No.
Okay. I got a lot of rivers around here too. So I wanted to get into that. And that's one thing that drew me to the kayak.
What college did you go to?
Clemson University.
Oh, that's okay. It's not Little Carolina because there's only one real Carolina, but we won't go there.
Yeah, grew up and born and raised an Alabama fan though. Got family from Birmingham, so.
How about Green Bay?
No, Alabama.
All right, so you said you do the rivers. I've heard you talk about
in the world, Alex. Don't make me kick you off this bitch. Okay, you can go ahead.
All right,
I've
heard you on
joke that you could.
I fucking hate you so much right now, Paul.
Oh my gosh.
Look, Blaine, this ain't KBN. We ain't professional here.
Hey man, all good. That was one of the reasons I wanted to come on here. Felt like I could be myself a little bit more.
All right, Alex. Paul.
Notes. It's all you, Paul. You go, Paul.
Look at your notes and let's carry on.
All right, I heard you on Paddle and Fin talk about river fishing. Now, I I fish river as well, but I'm thinking your river's a little different from mine. So I wanna. So I like when I hear about guys fishing non-tidal rivers, right? Like I'm picturing like the little, little fly fishing river. Basically, am I somewhat close?
Yeah, a little bit bigger than that, man.
Okay.
I mean, so I've got 3 rivers technically here. You've got the Saluda that comes out of the bottom of Lake Murray. You've got the Broad River that runs up from North Carolina, and they form together the Congaree.
Okay.
So the Broad River is, to me, probably, I mean, I've been fishing this area for a long time, but I've fished a lot of different areas for smallmouth in the southeast. I think I've got the best southern smallmouth fishing in my backyard. But
so my
anyways,
question is how do you move through that? All right, so like I'm on a big tidal river, right? It's huge.
Yeah.
It the tide brings me upriver, and then I fish long enough that it brings me downriver. Are you having to like park and then get somebody to come pick you up?
Yeah, you got 2 rules of thought, or 2 schools of thought here. You can either paddle upstream and then float back downstream, or you're parking 2 trucks.
Gotcha.
Look, if you're in the thought or the boat, pun fucking intended, of paddling upstream, you're Blaine. You're 6'4" and weigh 108 pounds, and you have a paddle reach of like 18 feet. So you can paddle up. But when you're a fat ass, you're like, all right, I'm going to put in here, and then at 2 o'clock, I'm going to call my wife to come pick me up down here and take me back to my truck, and she's going to help me load the kayak up.
Yep. Yeah, that's something.
Wait, your guys' wives help you load up the kayak? I was about to say, because I took, as Paul likes to call her, a Mandy, out fishing for her birthday, and she fucking didn't help at all. Like at all. And at one point I was like, hey, you want to grab something? And she was just like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'll sit in the truck. And she sat in the truck. And I was like, are you kidding me, Amandy? Like, I took you out. This is wonderful. You had a great time. She doesn't really fish. So, but she caught her first crappie, and then she got her first like shit ton of crappie. She had a fucking blast.
Who cleaned the crappie when you got home?
You know what? We should have ate them because I caught a bunch too. And it wasn't until like at the end of the trip where I was like, fuck, we should have kept all these and done a fish fry.
Who would have cleaned the crappie when you got home?
I would have.
I would have dunked them in her lap and said, Amandy, since you ain't do shit during the fishing trip, you're cleaning.
The best was when we were coming back. Like we get back and it was a low tide. So it was kind of dicey with me even getting in with the pedal drive. So, I mean, I had to kind of wade in the mud, drag this fucking, the old town all the way up there. She just kind of coasted in on her little ascend. But we get there, we get in the truck, and we start getting everything ready. And I look, and like her shit's still out. And I'm like, and then I hear like music, and she's already in the truck, air conditioning on, just jamming out. And I'm like, what are we fucking doing? Like, there's stuff to be done. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. You got it. Have fun. No, that's the worst part. The worst part is packing up after you're done fishing. That's the
9
worst
times
part.
out of 10, I would say you need to pack her stuff up for her. But Alex, you're on vacation from work. She should have helped.
She should have helped. Amandy, you heard that. Paul said you should have helped.
Amandy, I'm still waiting on my stickers.
A lot of people are waiting on those stickers. So with these rivers, I'm guessing they're pretty shallow. So you're not running a pedal drive or anything. You're doing conventional paddling.
So like the only pedal drive I think I'd be able to run is the pivot drive from New Canoe because it kicks up in the rear. I mean, outside of that, you're going to damage some stuff out there. There's sections you go over that are really shallow, but once you get to the main Broad River, it's probably something similar to what you're used to. I fish a lot of backs of spillways and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So, well, I am going to interrupt y'all before you say anything else. Both of y'all have taken a drink of something, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to yet because I haven't opened it.
Oh, we didn't do the crack.
Dude.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Are you really going to short me my opportunity?
You're right.
Look,
I'm sorry, Blaine.
Look, y'all. Alex has apparently like 3 pages, 4 pages, a book of notes.
Paul's so
and he
mad
forgot
about
to
these
crack open a damn. I'm looking for my whiteboard. I can't find it. I'm a little upset right now. Y'all do y'all's thing. Let me look for my whiteboard.
Blaine, what are you drinking tonight?
Dude, y'all are going to make fun of me. We already talked about it.
There it is.
White Claw.
Watching my girlish figure. 5 alcohols. Can't go
5
wrong.
alcohols. But remember, Paul said you're 6'4", 108 pounds, so you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm drinking Cape May, as always, at least while I'm here. Cape May IPA. It's got 6.3 alcohols.
Yeah, you bested me there.
Paul, what are
Look,
you drinking?
Blaine, if you're going to drink the
Kombucha.
claw on Bass and Brews, you need to get the Surge. It's got 8 alcohols.
Minus 1 point for Blaine. Is that what just went on the whiteboard? I mean, dude.
Exactly. All right, you ready? Paul, are you cracking one today or no?
I'm going to crack your ass. That's what
Oh,
I'm
you still on the
cracking.
diet. I got you. All right,
He's
big
off
boy.
the fast. Come on.
All right, you ready, Blaine? 3, 2, 1.
Let it rip.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
I found my whiteboard.
Oh, yeah,
See
so I can
that?
make fun of you for taking notes for trying to be professional, dickhead.
Well, I'm drawing pictures. I ain't taking no notes. I'm too good for notes.
So
I'm probably erasing a bunch of shit that I need later too. Thanks, Alex.
So Blaine, you mentioned that you float in a new canoe. What made you pick that? Because I feel like the new canoe is like they're like the cult member of the kayak game, and I don't mean it in a bad way. What I mean is like they're smaller, they're a little definitely more. They're a lot different than most boats that are out there. So what kind of drew you to that company?
So what drew me to that company was the open deck. I mean, I know that seems minute, but dude, coming from the bass boat world and being as tall as I am, I was like, dude, I need room. I need leg room. So I was like, what's the longest boat? What's the longest boat New Canoe has? And it was the Pursuit. And I was like, 13 and a half feet, tons of leg room. And dude, I mean, my whole thing with a New Canoe, it drafts a lot less water than a lot of boats that I've been in. Because I have been on a few brands, and I'm telling you, for river fishing and just the amount of tracks it has, and the ability to set anything up how you want it, and just still have all that room in front of you. Because I run a Motor Guide XI3 usually during tournaments. So I mean, dude, I'm chilling back there. Got Bluetooth speaker up front if I want to. You know, got all this room and still, 3-4 foot of deck to use and walk around on and measure fish. And
they definitely look like the DIYers like best dream, because they are. I've seen their boats. They've got tons of tracks, exactly what you said, open to whatever you want to do. But I mean, they are, again, that's why I say they're like cult status only. Like you could tell a New Canoe guy, right? Because he's usually got like some off-brand muffler kit attached to his fucking pickup truck. Like, it's not the name brand, right? But it kind of works just the same, but in a more exciting way, you know what I mean? Like he's got the nitro, but that nitro could blow up at any time. Like he's a little off his rocker. That's usually how I think of the New Canoe folks.
Yeah, man. Nah, I'm a stock truck guy. I mean, I just like my boat, man, and that's it. I just the openness drew me to it, and the way it paddled drew me to it. Because at the time I bought it, I didn't have a motor.
Right.
I was paddling. So, and then the pivot drive, having that as an add-on was pretty cool, because you can add it on to any of their models. And that was another thing, is that if I ever wanted to upgrade boats, all of my accessories were pretty much transferable across all the boats.
People talk about the open deck, and a lot of people like those. But with the New Canoe, I've never been in one, so I'm just going off of what I've seen. It is a very huge, wide open deck that you can do a lot of different things with. I know the first time I kind of started to look at those boats was Derek Brundle, and this has been a couple years, not even 2 years ago. It'd have been early 2021 that I started watching his stuff, and he sat on a cooler. But that boat had short rails, but it had the huge deck area that, what he would do is he was very mobile in that deck. And there's a lot. There's a lot to say about a big deck area. I mean, you can put stuff there. Stuff's easily accessible. You can reach it. Especially when you're kayak fishing, you got to measure a fish. A big deck means a lot, because you're not trying to put the fish on your lap. If it flops out, you got some area to maybe pin it down and save it, or what goes there.
Bet you are all about big decks.
Yes.
Look,
I'm
man.
going to my notes real quick to make sure that gets on social media. Is that all right, Paul?
I did this podcast without Alex for like 9.5 to 13 months, somewhere in there.
Shut the fuck up.
I never nary once come up on this thing with no notes. I had all this shit in my head.
That's the only thing in your head, though, Paul. That and a bunch of squirrels.
Maybe a beaver or two.
There's going to be. Total side note, some random dude on TikTok, somebody had a fucking video about a beaver. And this guy's like, whoa, this is the biggest beaver I've seen. And they specifically tagged Bass and Brews. And all he did was like that winky emoji like 4 times. And I was like, listen, the beaver's catching on. Listen, the beaver's had a rough decade, but it's been pummeled a lot, but now it's coming out on top. Y'all
go listen to the Hooks at Hoodlum cast on YouTube from last week. It would have been Wednesday of last week. I had a duck hat on. And Ken, I was talking shit to Ken, and he started talking shit back to me. He was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't even know what I'm looking at. It looks like Coley's sitting on your head. It only makes sense. It only makes sense if y'all know who Cupcake Coley is and her love for ducks.
Yeah.
And the duck, it was just out of the blue. It was great.
I felt really weird. I got a package in the mail. I used one of her discount codes for a company, and I needed a new scent.
Oh, was it the dildo lamp company? Did you buy a new dildo lamp?
Nope, it was Tube Lube. So my wife goes, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, Cupcake Coley told me about this product. And she's like, what's it called? I'm like, Tube Lube. And she just instantly stopped and goes, you should probably fucking explain that. And I was like, listen, don't worry about it. It'll be okay.
I hope Coley listens to this. Before we ask her about it, we need to see if she messages sometimes between Friday morning and Sunday. It's like, well, we know you ain't listening to Bass and Brews anymore.
Call her out right there. Listen, as soon as she got done being with you, she said, I'm done with Bass and Brews. She cut out. All right, so with you running the tournaments, right? What would you say? I really liked. I did listen. If you guys don't know, Blaine was on Paddle and Fin, probably about a year ago, right?
Yeah, probably.
So I like how you were.
Whose episode? I'm pretty sure I listened
his
to
own.
He ain't got no Paddle and Fin podcast. Whose podcast was it, Blaine?
Schiller and it was when Schiller and I think was his last name Randall? Brian Schiller and no, what was his name? Oh God, I want to get.
You're talking about what show? It was the OG show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the OG show.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So I like how you talked about that. You guys are a learning club, the club that you run. Are you guys still that way? And kind of, can you break that down for folks? I think that's super important, and it was really awesome to hear you.
Yeah, and dude, I've actually extended that a little bit further since then. So basically, when we say we're a learning club, we are here to grow the sport. Man, we're not the type of people. I mean, yeah, you're going to come in and compete for some money. I mean, we average about $500 to $700 first place. So I mean, it's a good little chunk of change to come out there on a weekend and win. But
Paul, you don't have to worry about that. You don't win it all, so.
Yeah, but well, you don't fish yet to win anything, so you don't have to worry about it either. Little short motherfucking bitch.
But what I was saying, we were originally, and we still are. We're here to teach people how to do this properly. That way, when you want to go on and fish that KBF event, when you want to go on and fish that Hobie event, you have experience. Answer any questions. Hey, had trouble catching fish today. Here's what I did, and I got third place. Here's what I mean, you see these guys reaching out. So outside of that, another thing that I like to do is say I see a person, KBF's put out a new rule 9, I think it is, with the no touch zone. I don't know if y'all have seen that. Basically, there's no more touching the tail of the fish, and you can't touch the face of the fish.
Okay.
So basically, I've been getting violations on that, and it's something that is new. So instead I'm going to deny the fish because it says I've got to per the rules. But what I'm going to do is instead of just denying all your fish because you're holding them wrong, I'm going to call you and go, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you need to do differently. Do you have any other pictures? I give you every angler the benefit of the doubt. I mean, that's just what we try to do. So, I mean, obviously there's some seasoned guys there that we don't have to worry about that with, but there's some guys there that are there for their first season or hell, their first tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even know if what they're doing is right. They're just submitting fish going. So, you know, it takes some research. Obviously, you got to read the rules of any club you go to. But, I mean, to have me do that, I feel like is very helpful for some of these guys and saves people some heartache.
Kayak anglers don't read no fucking rules. We already know that. Secondly, as being a club that is catering to the newer angler and stuff like that, do y'all have lower entry fees?
Yes. We're a $35 entry fee, $5 optional small fish, and it went up from $30 last year just because we got on an app with Fishing Chaos. So basically we charge $5 a person per event for just pay the fees and, you know, anything that gets taken out. So basically in the long run, yeah, $35 gets you in my tournament. It's $5 small fish, and small fish we have to do a different kind of submission because I gotta have a coach minimum. But yeah, it's easy for people to come in, feel comfortable because nobody's out there being a hard ass, and that's what I really love. Because you go to some of these tournaments and it's like some people walking around with heads the size of freaking just giant egos, and it's just, it doesn't need to be that.
Well,
if you need, believer of that.
If you need help judging anything under 12 inches, Alex is your man. Secondly,
there it is.
You mentioned something that we hear a lot about, and I have a differing opinion with this, and this is kayak fishing in general, kayak fishing, tournament, everything, and it's growing the sport. When you say that, what do you mean by that? Growing the sport.
I cannot tell you how many times I've been out in my rig pre-fishing for an event. You pull up to the ramp, there's another kayak angler there. It's like, oh man, I like your kayak. Starts talking to you, and next thing you know, he's not fishing a tournament, but you're pre-fishing for one, and you're like, hey man, there's one next weekend. And then, well, I don't even know where I'd start. Well, here's a couple stores that sell the stuff you need if you wanted to. I mean, it's as simple as $40 and, you know, $40 in your entry fee, and you could be in this thing. And it's bringing those people to comfortable levels. We've got a guy, I'm going to tell the story. There's a guy named Frankie that fishes with us, Frankie Wolf. Probably, I think he started 2 years ago, kayak fishing tournaments. Dude, I mean, from the stories I hear, he was like, man, I don't know if I'm good enough, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I'm ready. Talk to his friends that do the same, that fish tournaments, and they're like, dude, give me a break. Dude only brings spinning rods out there. Doesn't have, you know, he fishes a very specific way, and, you know, he didn't know if it was going to be enough to do it. Dude won Angler of the Year last year, on track to win Angler of the Year this year. Dude was either first or second Queen City AOY last year. I mean, just an absolute hammer. And I mean, all it took was someone going, come out here, learn, try it, and see where it goes. And, you know, you find what you love. So, I mean, that's what I mean by growing the sport. It's just bringing anglers to being comfortable with fishing tournaments and not thinking tournament fishing has to be this clout, like, got to be the best of the best. And it doesn't have to be that way.
And so I'm in the same thought as you are with growing the sport. Frankie, for instance, was already fishing. He was already in a kayak. Growing the sport meant bringing him into the tournament setting, which means growing the sport from a monetary standpoint. The more people we have fishing tournaments, paying entry fees, the bigger the payouts are, the bigger the money pool is. Like, but
you're talking about kayak fishing as a whole.
Well, just in general, growing the sport let's take it from a kayak perspective. growing the sport, when you hear this in the kayak world, you hear it a lot in the tournament angling world. They talk about growing the sport, but they're not talking about Jim Bob going and buying a kayak and starting to just kayak fish, or Jimmy Ray going and buying some shit to fish off the bank. Kayak anglers want to grow the sport. They want to grow tournament kayak angling so that the purses are bigger, so that you grow into a professional setting where people can make a living just fishing kayak tournaments. We have a few people doing that now, but a handful, less than 10, maybe more. I don't know, but somewhere around 10. But you're talking about taking kayak fishing to the elite level or the BPT level, where folks, that is their job. That's what they do week in and week out. And I think that when we talk about growing the sport and fishing from the boat side or from the kayak side, is that you hear this term thrown around, but what do they actually mean? Because when I talk about growing the sport, I want more people to tournament angle, fish, whatever the fuck we want to call it, so that the money, the pot's bigger, the money's bigger. And from the tournament side, on kayaks, that's where we are right now. Because if you want to grow the sport, shit, we ain't got to do nothing the last 2 years to grow kayak fishing. It's growing on its own.
Exactly.
And so, there's a whole thing. This is a whole different podcast to get into. But in general, growing the sport comes from two different angles. One, as a tournament angler, you're going to grow it so the pots are bigger, so you can, win more money, blah, 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 blah. Because to win more money, you need more people that are just dabbling. Like, there's going to be a handful that win the majority of the money. But when you talk to tackle distributors and tackle makers and those people, they want to grow the sport because they want more people buying tackle. They want more people buying shit. There's two different sides of growing the sport. Yeah. And so I think that's where we get into kind of people just throwing that term out there, but not really diving into what it means. But your club is doing the tournament side. You're growing the sport by seeing somebody in a kayak, giving them an opportunity at a low level entry point to come fish a tournament. Well, and maybe they can fish great like Frankie and come in and start winning money out of the blue. I mean, that's the part that I think a lot of the kayak anglers want to grow the sport at, because the majority of us ain't making money off of selling tackle.
No, and I mean, it's not only that. I think the two kind of go hand in hand to an extent, because I mean, you find guys that not only come out to fish tournaments, but they come to find a like-minded group of people. I mean, I can't tell you how many of my guys will fish a tournament against each other and pre-fish the entire way up to it together. I mean, they're friends. I mean, they travel together. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it forms bonds between people. And I mean, there's something to be said about that.
But if it continues to grow, so I know there is this thing, especially in the tournament scene, right? A lot of kayak tournament guys will talk about this brotherhood, and I think there's absolutely something there, right? And there's
we call it a family, because there are some really good ass women anglers fishing kayaks.
Right. That's probably better. You're absolutely right. This family, right? And the reason a lot of people go to it is because they're really jaded from the big boat scene, right? Because your local club level big boat scene became very backstabby as soon as money got involved.
Yeah.
So if we continue to grow kayak fishing as a tournament sport, the same thing's going to happen, correct? Like, the same thing's going to happen. As soon as money's involved.
Bro, there ain't no way.
Yo, Paul.
But I was washing my hands.
No, there was a clear lack of washing hands. Paul forgot to mute himself.
There's a pause in the middle. Is everything okay?
He's older.
Washing my hands.
He's older. Paul forgot to mute.
No.
But
oh my god.
All right, we're cutting that.
Nope.
44:30.
No. That's gonna go up on its own TikTok. But do you not think that eventually if you continue to grow to get to that level, because big money is involved, it's going to become a try hard thing that is like killing the bass boat club scene.
I don't know, man, because, all right, think about it this way. I put 15 kayak anglers in a room and give them all keys to brand new bass boats. How many of them, you know what I mean? How many of them stay in the kayak? Or how many of them still do both? Because that's what I did. I ended up getting a bass boat and still do both because I enjoy different parts of each one. But, I mean, there's something to be said that for the cost of it and getting into it, that's kind of the attraction behind it, and that's what grows it.
There's the whole, like, again, the cost. If you guys go back to the reel down, those boys over there broke it down perfect, right? There was we had them on the show, and they explained, like, it's not just the cost, it's the whole aesthetic of being there, close combat with the fish, seeing nature in a certain way, right? But specifically talking about tournaments, the more and more money that's going to be involved, the more cutthroat people are going to be because money's involved.
Oh, dude,
that's specifically why people are leaving. But so I'm going to argue, and people are like, hey, let's grow the sport, we need to do it through tournament fishing. I personally think the bigger it gets, the more it like drifts away of what makes kayak fishing great, which is the family, the sitting down with people. We can have a good time. We can share tactics, all that good stuff, right? Because that's still, we're in a very pure form still. The more money is involved, the more that it's going to, I don't know. I feel like it's.
Dude, I've busted 2 cheaters in the last 2 years that come in. I mean, I know. And I'm not talking about like busted, like you can't fish our club anymore. 2 guys that are blacklisted from KBF, Hobie, Bass. I mean, just for doing not smart stuff. And I mean, money brings out the worst in people. One of them was very, very close to me. We actually fished for the same paddle shop team. And,
oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, being on the board and having to find all this out and then send the letters and know what's coming of it, it's one of those things that it makes you question it. And it made me, I questioned leaving kayak fishing at one point because of it. But at the end of the day, we still have that niche group that especially with Palmetto State, we're just, man, it's a brotherhood that some people really respect, and the ones that don't are found out and aren't allowed to come around anymore.
Well, you said that the cheating made you want to leave kayak fishing. So would I say that? Okay, I was about to say like you were willing to just not kayak fish at all if you couldn't do a tournament.
No. That's
the TD
not like
side.
that.
You will never catch my ass being a TD in fucking nothing. Hell no, I don't want to do it. But you're right. What you're going to see in the next 5 years, you're going to see a professional level kayak trail where the people who want to fish at have to pay all 8 tournaments up front. You're going to see that in the next 5 years. Now, I think what's going to be, oh shit, I froze up. Here I am. What I think is going to be different between kayaking and the boat world in the money side and growing the sport and what we're talking about is that the local club trails are still going to be bigger because it's just easier to get into. The cost of entry, all that shit, right?
Sure.
But you're going to start, you're still going to have a lot of camaraderie on the local level. But as you get into the national trails that are there now, there's a lot of camaraderie with that. But once you get into the professional where you have 50, and I think that's a good number that's probably going to start out at.
Probably.
You know, you have those folks, and when those folks come and fish the opens, which is what all the national kayak trails are right now, are opens, you're going to have, there's going to be a different mentality because those guys are going to get sponsorships. Those folks are going to get sponsorships from winning, from the content they create. Yeah. And so there's going to be a different level on that. I've said it before. I said, I think on Jigs and Bigs initially, we're in the wild, wild west of kayak fishing right now. You know, There's a local club popping up every other day. There's a regional club that's starting every year that the following year they're opening up to a wider area. we're in that wild west period that nobody knows what's going to happen. It's exciting to be in. I mean, who'd have thought that this day and age that we would get to be at the forefront, of something like this.
Yeah, and that's it, man. I mean, you talked about sponsored anglers, and I mean, there are a few that actually are sponsored. We'll talk about the difference between sponsored anglers and promotional staff.
Right. Hold on. We got professional staff and promotional staff. And
you are sponsored when they cut you a check.
When they give you fucking hard money. When that shit hits your bank account.
About products.
Yeah. When you get 1,000, 5,000, when you get money in your bank account that you can go spend on a cheeseburger or some tackle. That's
exactly. You are officially a sponsored angler.
Yeah. That 10% discount, that 20% discount get for hooks at hoodlums. I love it. Like I wear my hook shit. But that's promotional staff.
And that's part of it.
We got to start talking about the difference in the pro staff. Like we got to start adding some American alphabet letters behind the PR and O on those words.
I was prom staff.
Yeah, prom staff.
I was looking at
what the fuck it is. The most prom. The people the folks that are up there that are the most loudest, the prettiest. Like they the prom staff. The motherfuckers catch fish. I don't care how ugly you are. They the professional staff because they getting checks.
I was looking at this guy's. Somebody sent us, Paul, a request. Trying to figure out how not to single this person out. We do get a lot of requests to be on the show lately, which is really great.
We get like one a week. So if you're in the last 2 weeks, Alex is talking about you.
TikTok, you don't know. Like TikTok has been amazing for promoting the show. I feel like we've hit a whole new audience, and it's been awesome. But we got a guy and he came on. He goes, "Hey, check out my Instagram, this and that." And I went and looked at it, and I know it's not a numbers clout thing, but so he did tell me he's a professional fisherman, and I said, "Okay, that's dope. Like, let's see." So he had like 57 followers. Look, sometimes that happens. But then I look and it says like sponsorship, and it's got a whole laundry list. It's got about 12 companies listed, right? None of them are really known to, all the companies are known to have giant pro staff, right? These are like you sign up on an email and now you're pro staff. Woo. So when he had the whole thing, and specifically he said on his profile thing, said sponsored professional fisherman. And then it's like all these companies. And I was like, listen, brother, like that's not exactly what you two just said. That's your promotional staff. There's nothing wrong with that. You just got to know your lane and what it is. I know it's big. Blaine, I know Paul doesn't really go on TikTok very often, but Blaine, I'm sure we follow some of the same guys. I think it's Louisiana State Outlaw and previous guests on the show, Carolina Thump, have been having this conversation about pro staff and what it actually means. And like, I think these are important conversations as people are trying to get into social media, which I 100% you should. As a angler, you should throw yourself out there. If anything, you're going to find a couple buddies who are dope as shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But people need to be realistic on what pro staff means, what it means for you as the person, like what your obligations are, but also like you're not a fucking professional. You're not a fucking
Well, I mean, there's guys around here on Lake Murray that striper guide for a living. I mean, they are out there every day, Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, either they're on or they decide to take off. I mean, that is what they do, and they charge $800 for a trip.
Good.
Yeah, and I mean those guys are professional fishers.
Professional angler. Yeah, exactly.
You do it for a living.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I mean, I think we all desire to reach that point. I don't think there's an angler out there that doesn't just want to do it all the time. But I mean, dude, it's for some people, it's not realistic.
I think.
Hey, here's a public service announcement for Bass and Brews. We don't give a shit if you've got 0 followers or anything like that. Now, we typically bring on folks that are doing stuff on social media. They have some kind of like the content creators. But that shit don't matter to us.
No.
We don't care. I'm like, we bring folks on that are interesting to talk to, that create content, that tournament fish, that fun fish, that bank fish, that kayak fish out of a boat. It doesn't matter to us. So your resume doesn't mean shit to us. You just got to be, you got to have a good time. I mean, that's what it is. That's the
I'm
thing.
just some South Carolina boy with a White Claw.
There you go. I mean, you're 6'7" and like weigh 113 pounds or something.
What is he, Scuba Steve? You just keep raising his height? Is that what it is?
Do you see the head of hair behind his hat?
Yeah.
He sure as shit ain't Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve ain't had
Scuba
that much
Steve
hair
ain't
his
got no
entire
hair.
life.
I've been going hard, Bo.
Scuba Steve's face is so ugly that his hairline is running from it. That's how fucking bald he is.
It is. And you know what? Blaine hadn't eaten a single fucking thing on this podcast yet. And he showed up before the last 30 minutes.
Steven, you're never going to live down sitting on a podcast eating fucking popcorn like a degenerate, you piece of shit.
That is hilarious. What?
Where was I going to go with this? Oh,
I don't know. You must have run out of notes because you had to it.
No, yeah, I did it. Well, I just wanted to like pivot back to, if all you guys can get out of this and you feel really stoked to get a discount code and you feel like you're a pro, don't watch this fucking show anymore. Because I feel like as we go on, me personally, Paul, I don't know how you think, and I do try to keep, I got to keep my professional journalism, right? But I'm starting to lose my patience with it because it is a lot of like distorted reality on folks, and they need to be brought in. So if you have a completely distorted reality and you think because Woo Tungsten gives you a fucking generic code and you're a pro fisherman, don't ask to be on the show.
But like, I don't give a shit. Look, if you can get a discount, like people want talk crap about the discounts and stuff like that, get a discount. If you can get 10%, 15% off of
a break's a break, dude.
Dude, hell yeah, that's big time.
That's not what I'm saying. Don't get a discount code. Okay.
But there are people that talk junk about the discount code.
Sure.
Look, if you can't get hard money, if you can't get that shit given to you for free, but you can get a discount, get the fucking discount. Go
100%. 100%. You should get that discount because you're putting your time, you're putting your effort into it, and your effort is way cheaper than if company X had to pay for an actual marketing team, right?
All right.
Way cheaper.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you get into that company, you get a discount code. If it is a code that's directly correlated to you, your code only, use it, give it to people, because if they start seeing sales from that code, maybe that does get you a sponsorship. Correct. Maybe that does get you free gear. Like that's the initial way for that company to see your value to them. So that discount code, work it. Use it yourself. Give it to people. Like that's what it's there for. And if you get to the point that this company is like, damn, this dude's brought us in $20,000 in merchandise sales, or lure sales, they're going to start saying, all right, how do we get this guy on our staff? How do we get him here? And then now you get into that part of negotiation, pay or free lure, whatever it is. Those discount codes mean a lot because you can get shit cheaper at an angler, and damn fishing ain't cheap.
No.
But then don't think about it as I'm getting a discount. Think about it. This is my way. If I really like this company and like their product and want to use it, I can get into this company at this point in time. Like, sell that shit. Be a salesperson, and get in there.
Don't walk past me and don't walk past me and turn your cheek like you're some sort of hot shit, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so
That's-
here's the thing too. The counter side of what you're saying, Paul, and it's not even a counter side, but it's the folks that put like professional, right? So you are giving worth to this company. When they come back and they look at your profile and they see on there that you're saying you're a professional for their company, why would they ever pay you? You are taking the bare minimum. You're saying 10% is all I'm worth, right? Even though you're getting them all this attention, reach, all of that sales, right? If you put in there that just because you're pro staff and you have a discount code, put yourself as a professional sponsored angler, that company's going to go, why should I ever have to pay that person money when all I did was give them 10%? You're never going to make your nubby. You're never going to make your money off that 10%. Yes, it does save you money, but they're going to pay you way more than what you're going to save on a code, right? But if you start pretending like you're a pro without being a pro, like they're not actually paying you, fuck that.
But see, that's
that.
two different things, though. So if you get to that point that and you, unless they share that information, you don't know what kind of sales you're generating.
Correct.
But if you do know, if you get to the point you've got 100,000 followers and you've got these people and you're getting messages and all this and that, you at some point know your worth. And and you reach out to that company like, hey, I want to know, ask them. And if they won't tell you, then that company is probably not somebody you want to continue promoting.
Right.
So then what you do is you take that information, what you have, if they've given you how many sales or whatever, and you take that information, you go to the next one. I mean, it's business. That's what it is. Those promotional codes are great because you get shit for cheap.
Yep.
But it opens the avenue for you to start to get that. Now, does that mean you're a professional angler? Gonna be? No. A professional angler, as Blaine said, are the guys that do it 5, 6, 7 days a week.
Yep.
Professional angler are the guys on the elites. Professional anglers are guys that are fishing the opens. You know, not every open guy is a blue collar worker that is out there. You know, some of those guys fish the elites. Yeah. That's their job, and their goal is to make the classic or the elites when they're fishing the opens. Right. And so, you know, a professional angler is somebody who makes a living off of fishing, regardless if they're on the elites or the VPT or if they're guiding. And a lot of people do both. So, you know, we get into that. But in the kayak world, we're just so different right now. There's not a lot of kayak guides. You know, there's no professional kayak anglers, no PKAs. There are people that make a living off of it. But, you know, to say they're professionals yet, I don't think we're there. We're not far at this point in time. We're not far because we do have quite a few that are this is what they do. But I think when they start, when the pools of money start getting into the triple digits in kayak fishing, and it's going to happen, that's when you're going to start to see the professionals. That's when you're going to start to see some of these names on commercials on Saturday mornings on ESPN.
Coming to do kayak stuff.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's it. But hey, I want to steer this real quick because I don't want to forget this story because this is one of my fucking favorite stories ever. This is where my hey Alex, make sure you mute.
I gotta go potty, but
yeah,
I'll wait.
Make sure you mute.
Oh, I do mute because I'm not a professional.
All right, we'll wait till you get back for the story.
Yeah. So Blaine, since Alex is gone, how short do you think he is?
Dude, well, I mean, you make it seem like he's, you know, borderline medical condition, but I mean, I think but I think he's somewhere in that 5'5", 5'7" range. I don't know.
You have way overestimated his height. He's like 5'2".
Really? Well, if it makes you feel any better, or it makes him feel any better, my wife's 4'10". No lie, and I'm 6'4". I've got 1'6" on her.
My wife's 4'11", so
I
feel it. Yeah. So Alex is like a 20-inch fish, and our wives are like 16-inch fish.
Yeah, I had to Google the definition of an LP before I got married to her. I had to figure it out. I was like, man, is she technically?
look, Alex, as short as he is, has one of the greatest podcast voices you will hear. It's that raspy.
It is. It's good.
It's that raspy voice. I'll tell you what, I talk a lot of shit about Alex. I mean, this man in the background has a 2-top Tupperware container in the background holding up his shit.
Are you guys shitting on me for the background? I heard the nice talk about my voice. I appreciate that, Paul. What's wrong with that? There's multiple of them. Listen, when I get home, I got the okay. We're going to do like a full studio. After watching Jimmy on Reel Down, I want something like that. I want it to look slick, something playing in the background, a big loungy chair, the mic that comes down from the top like he's in a Limp Bizkit cover band. That's what I want.
Limp Bizkit cover band.
So Alex has those containers behind him. Those are his step stools so he can reach shit in his house.
Fuck it, still. We're just going with it there, fat boy. We're just going to keep going on the short jokes.
Yeah. He hits you.
Blaine wanted to know if you were medically short, like if there was a medical condition to your shortness.
Yeah, it's because my dick's so big it compresses me down.
It weighs me down. It's gravity.
No, I'm not that short. I mean, I'm short. But
I mean, you're 5'2". That's kind of short.
I'm not 5'2".
See,
I'm 5'7".
I told you. I said 5'7".
Yes.
See, I was on.
Listen,
All right,
Paul.
Pretty good.
Paul's wife also thinks that 8 inches looks like that. So it's not a lot we can do there.
Hey, so I want to get to and I want him to tell this story. This story was initially told on KBN. When was it, Blaine? I can't remember.
December 4th, 2021.
God, he's got it fucking
December 4th, 2020.
It's my PB, bro.
All right,
was when this story was told.
Oh, hell yeah.
So you can find on KBN on YouTube and their podcast platform. And now I asked Ryan Lambert about this shit, and he's like, oh, I can't remember this, blah, 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 blah. And I understood because he drinks too much, kind of like me, so I can't remember shit. But Jeff knew this shit right offhand. Anyway, Blaine, the song of my people, my name for this here podcast, this episode. Tell us this story, because this shit, first of all, I hope you got a fucking GoPro now. And if you don't, you're an asshole.
I do.
You're a 6'4" asshole. Okay, good. More. Tell us the story in the, just start from the beginning. What tournament was it? And what were you doing? Because this shit, look, I'm going to preface this. This story might not be as good because we're about a year and a half from it. But when he told it on KBN, that shit was fresh. And I laughed my damn ass off. This shit was golden.
Bro, that fish cost me some money and won me some money at the same time. It was crazy. So, long story short, long story long. I'll go with the whole thing. So,
yes,
I fished.
We have on Bass and Brews, we have 2 to 4 hours to tell a story.
2 hours to 2 days.
So, I fished. If you haven't seen, Vinny with Queen City has been working with Native, and they've come out with a new format for the kayak fishing world. It's the No Limit event featuring the Big Bass Power Hour. This was one of the coolest formats that I've fished as a kayak angler.
What's that format look like?
So it's basically, you have a no limit side of it. There's 2 different sides of it. You got no limit side. So all of your scoreable bass you catch in that day, I mean, there's no limit. I mean,
right.
You
So MLF style.
It's like an MLF style format.
Gotcha.
So you weigh in as many fish as you catch, and you go for that overall prize, which for this one, I think it's grown, but at the time it was $1,000 to win the no limit side. And then it had an hourly $1,000 big bass payout. So if you caught the biggest fish of the hour, it was the same thing as winning so you had 2 different schools of thought.
Yeah.
You go after the numbers.
Hey, hold up real quick. We just had one last month, and it was the same thing. It was an hourly big bass payout for 8 hours, and then the MLF style, and the same thing for the whole day for the biggest stringer.
Yeah.
The most recent one we did, it was $1,300 per hour for biggest bass for 8 hours. And then also the no limit side was $1,300 payout. At the end, there were there were other prizes and stuff given out. I think it went out to like 3rd or 5th place or something. So
Yeah.
You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars
For an event, man. I mean, Native really
Kayak.
put behind this thing. Yeah. So not only were those $1,000 prizes available, hourly and for the overall big bass won a Native Slayer 12.5, and then
Hell
your
yeah.
overall MLF style winner won a Native 10.5. So I decided you had two schools of thought: chase numbers or chase those big bites. And my wife is from West Central Florida. I mean, I went there and learned how to flip grass probably last summer, and it's a tactic that I know.
Paul, mute yourself. What are you doing over there?
But I don't know if I'm comfortable anymore, Alex.
Listen, when you agreed to the rules, there was also a disclaimer that Paul loves big bass. All right, your wife's from Florida.
Yeah. So basically, I learned to flip grass, and Santee is the closest place to me that had grass. I know it's a big bite tactic, but dude, Florida, your December weather is 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Here, your December weather is 34.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't see a ton of freezing temperatures. We see some, but it was pretty fucking cold that day. As you could see in my picture, I'm wearing my pink sweatpants, which are my lucky sweatpants. They had to go with me. So anyways, I go out. I knew this one place that had a ton of grass. I knew they had sprayed it. I didn't know what was alive and what wasn't. Hadn't been there in months. No pre-fishing, no nothing. I was just like, I'm going to go out here, and if I catch a giant, I catch a giant. And 10 o'clock came, and so I'm flipping grass mats, and I moved back in the back. Everything I was flipping was dead. It was obviously brown and gross looking, and in the back there's this one like 6 foot bright green patch, and I was like, okay, if that's not calling my name, I don't know what is. So I get close to it, flip in once, nothing. Flip in the second time, nothing. Wind picks up, pushes me up against the side of the mat. And at this point, I was like, man, this is the only good-looking mat back here. I just reached over and dropped right into the mat. I mean, I was that close to it. I was up against it. And I picked up on it, and when I did, the rod tried to eject from my hands. And I just reared
rod
back.
Ejaculated from his hands.
Yeah. But here comes where the name comes in. I always said, man, and when I set the hook, I flip with 80 pound Power Pro braids. So whenever it rubs up against the grass, they call it the funny fiddle. I just call it the song of my people. You set the hook and it's just making all kind of wild noises, man.
Hey,
and
it's the dolphin face.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And out comes this monstrous bass. All I'd caught back there were bowfin or mudfish, whatever you want to call them, all day. And when I set the hook and I saw a largemouth, I was like, oh my God, this thing is massive. And so I obviously am having a minor panic attack because I didn't expect to get bit just dropping it into the mat like that. So I lean back into her, and as I'm pulling her in, if you know anything about the new canoe seats, they have a strap that holds them up, and you can adjust it for your back height. And so when I boat flipped her, she hit me like right in the shins.
Hold on, you boat flipped your fucking PB?
Hell yeah, dude.
Alex, quit
just
interrupting
wait.
the story.
Just wait. We're not done.
Shut up, Alex.
Shit.
Don't say nothing else until he pauses for 3 seconds or more.
I lean when she hits me in the knees. I like fell backwards, and when I did, I broke the strap on my seat, and like I was laying flat down in the boat. And obviously, since I fell on a pivot point, my feet popped up. I kicked her back into the lake. Dude, I still had my rod in my hand. I just cranked down as I sat back up and just grabbed it about the center and just freaking hauled her back in a second time. And she landed in the bottom of the boat. So I'm sitting there with a broken seat, 24-inch bass in between my legs, and my board is somewhere. I don't know. I managed to get to it. I put her on the board. I mean, and to my disbelief, saw that it's a 2 foot long bass.
Yeah.
Had a rusty spring scaled with me, weighed 9.7 on a rusty spring scale. I guarantee it was over 10, but you know what? It said 9.7, so I'm rolling with 9.7. And dude, like I said, I won overall big bass for the day. Ended up winning $1,000 native Slayer, 12.5 Slayer Max. And I mean, it was all in all probably about a $5,500 payday.
Yeah.
And man, as a kayak angler, that was the best lick I've hit.
It's huge, man.
To catch my PB on tourney day in an event like that, you could not tell me shit on the way home. I was the man, no matter which way you cut it. But there's no better feeling than that, man. You get in the car on the way home after absolutely, only caught that one fish all day.
One fish, and you got all of that off one bite, basically.
One bite. And that was my whole goal. And that's the beauty of that format, man. It's so cool. It really is. They do it in the bass boat world, but in the kayak world, you hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, what's keeping someone from doing that? I'd always thought that, but, figured there was something, and leave it to Vinny to just knock it out of the park with it, man. He's killer tournament director, man. I don't have enough good things to say about Vinny Ferrari.
And you could catch an 18-inch bass or a 16-inch bass that wins you $1,000 for that hour. I mean, you think about it.
You don't have to catch 24.
Yeah, I mean, you can, whatever the biggest bass is at that time. That's a cool format. That story, and I, it's not great story, Blaine. It's not as good to hear it when you told it on KBN because it was fresh. It had just happened. And
money had hit my account the night I was on KBN. You still can tell me shit. Come on now.
Now, did you use any of that money to buy a fucking net?
I had a net with me, dude. When you're punching, all right. So I'll explain this.
Hey,
I
hold
punch
up,
for that
real quick, Blaine. He has no idea what it's like to catch a bass over 20 inches. He's in New Jersey. So he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand.
The one that I won the trophy with for biggest bass out of hook set was 23 inches at just an ounce shy of 7 pounds.
That's a big one.
It's a big one. It was only 8 ounces off of the state record. So, Paul,
damn.
With all due respect, suck my dick.
That's half a pound, dude. That's like your bottom torso.
There it is.
Half a pound.
I was waiting for the short joke. I'm gonna put together all the short jokes in this fucking episode. We're gonna run it as like a TikTok of just like Paul shitting on me for being short.
You got to add in the Alex Rudd episode because I made a lot then because Alex Rudd's like 7'9".
But we'll do a whole next one because I've been nice, but we'll go on fat boy jokes next episode. No problem.
Oh, man.
That's fine. By next episode.
I'm not going to get hit by any of these. I'm rolling good.
By next episode, because you're going to be gone for like the next 8 months. Next episode, I'll be skinny.
No. So I will not be. I might be there for the next episode. We'll see. And then we're going to go back to the Motel 6 Chronicles where I have to do, hosting duties from the crack whore infested Motel 6 in Oakland, California. So
Blaine, I'm sorry for Alex interrupting you 3 times. We'll go back to what you were saying.
Oh yeah. So whenever you're flipping, man, I got a 7.6 heavy, man, 80-pound braid, 1.5 ounce weight, and probably a 4-aught hook. You're gonna lose more fish trying to fuck around netting them than you will if you just put them in the boat. I mean, you've got the gear to do it. You give them less time to play you. I mean, dude, I flip them in the boat green and worry about wrestling them down in my turf, not theirs.
Yeah, it's a good point. Solid point.
Hey, how do you peg 1.5 ounce weight?
A lot of people use bobber stops. I don't. I use the.
I can't get them to work. That's what I'm asking. I
don't
pull through
hunt, rubber stops. I don't know if you've seen them. They're
I got them. I've tried them. I can't get them to hold.
Man, the ones I have are a little bit thicker than any of the ones that I've ever been able to find, and I'm going to be pissed because I threw away the packaging and won't be able to find them again. No idea what brand they are. I'm gonna have to do some digging and buy 1,000 of them things to find them again. But they're probably, good 2.5, 3 inches long.
Oh yeah,
and at the top they're really, really thick. So whenever I pull it through, I pull it until it snaps, and then after that I cut the top. And I'll have them slide up, but it's enough pressure to where it doesn't slide up in a bad situation.
I don't do a lot of punching. I don't have that kind of grass where I am, but I've used toothpicks. But the problem is, if you don't get that toothpick cut nice and flush, it grabs the damn mat, and so you end up kind of getting hung up a lot. So I was just curious because I don't do a lot of punching, but the times that I've tried to do it's been ever loving pain in the ass because I can't get that weight. And if you don't do the damn weight, then your worm or whatever you throwing sitting on top of the grass and your weight's down there and the shit just don't work right.
It don't work. Yeah, man, it needs to be in one solid object. And most of the stuff I flip, even with an 1.5 ounce weight, you're gonna struggle getting it through there. I flip on top of the mat and just sit there and shake until finally it does its thing and falls through. Yeah, and I learned to flip grass in Florida. That's where I would have no idea what I was doing around grass mats if it wasn't for my wife being from Florida. And
hey, let me ask you something. I ain't no geography major, but where the fuck is West Central Florida? Because there's
West
only
Central.
East Florida and West Florida.
So center of the state, west side.
So West Florida.
Yeah, I guess.
No,
West Florida,
so
near Tampa.
That would be Tampa. That'd be St. Pete, Tampa area, right?
That's not center. Tampa's on the fucking West Coast. That's West Florida.
Yeah. Okay. But then you also have Pensacola, but they're completely two different areas, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're
You're
central.
7 hours apart there.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you got
Florida's a weird state.
Oh, dude, I have been in nooks and crannies of Florida that ain't no man seen since the Indians been there. Because I fought fire. I had been in some shit in Florida.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't know where West Central Florida was. I mean, you say West Central South Carolina, we got some room to play.
Yeah. Well, so
you're kind of in West Central South Carolina.
Yeah, in a way. I'm in Northwest Central South Carolina.
Hey, you could be
really specific
South
here.
Carolina.
You could be from West, or you could be from North South Carolina, which is east of due West South Carolina.
We have two towns called North and due West.
True story. North and due West.
That's so
Look up Bill Cosby in the 80s and watch that old
talking
lady
to that
explain
old
where she's
woman.
from.
It's hilarious.
You're from North South Carolina?
I don't know if Bill Cosby, I mean, he might be the level of Bassett Bruce. I don't know if he aged well as a whole.
He used to tell really good fart jokes back in the day with no cussing.
He's not wrong.
I just like the pause.
I have
He's
never
not
been wrong. I've never been wrong ever. I'm either right or kind of right, but I'm never wrong.
Right.
Okay. Yes,
He said okay.
Sounds like my wife.
Boy, your wife must have a good beard then.
I didn't say it looks like my wife.
You said I was like your wife. You gonna go kiss her tonight and just that beard hair is gonna be all up imagining your face. You're gonna be good.
I don't know if you hopefully you guys are watching this. We talked about this in the green room. There is a striking likeness between Paul and Blaine. So could be his dad.
just jumping to conclusions here.
That's it. All right, man. So we are about ready to hit I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so we're about ready to hit. Dude, this next segment has made or either made careers or broken careers.
Hold up, Alex. What? We have segments now?
Well, we only have one.
We've never had segments in this podcast.
We only have one. But before we get to this, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of shout out any companies, people who've helped you out through this whole process.
Oh, Lord. Last episode, we forgot this one, so now you're doing it now.
I'm doing it before.
Yep.
Exactly.
I hear you. There you go. Do it while it's fresh, man.
Exactly.
Like I said,
Hey, thanks, Blaine. Hey, you're the new co-host. Jabberhammer, you're out.
Hey, good luck, Blaine, because he's going to leave in a couple weeks and be like, here, do this. I'm out.
He's a smart
no,
kid.
man. I've got a couple of teams that I'm on. I'm on Team New Canoe. I'm, with them on the regional level. I'm with the Atlantic South region over here under Stuart Venable. He's a good guy. And, outside of New Canoe, I'm with a couple of pro staffs, Rather Outdoors. That's Lose and Strike King. And, yeah, man, I just want to thank everybody that helps me do what I do, even if it is for a break. I always appreciate it. And New Canoe gave me the really cool opportunity to go to the Bassmaster Classic and work it. I was there at the Lowrance Motor Guide booth. So that was a super cool experience and something that I actually got to talk about on the Unlimited podcast with Brian one day. Got to meet all kind of my idols, man. There were people there that you only watched on TV and, they were staying in the hotel with me. So
that's awesome.
It was just kind of cool. Yeah.
I got to take my son to the classic, and it's the first time I've ever been, and we went, and I got to meet quite a few people that had been on the show that I hadn't met in person before, and then a bunch of other people I hadn't met. But like my idol that I want to see was Bailey Egbrett or Egbrett. One of them Bailey Bretts from the Serious Angler. And I got to meet him and Cap Mandrew, man. I mean, I got to hug the shit out of both of them. It was wonderful.
Coolest thing for me was going into the hotel, check in, do whatever, go up to the room, get in the elevator, and I hear hold the door, and I see a wheelchair rolling towards me. And dude, it was Clay Dyer. And he's the fisherman with no arms and no legs, genetic disorder. And he rode the elevator with me, and I looked at him and I was like, man, I've waited to meet you for a long time. He said, well, I feel fucking sorry for you. And I just started dying laughing. And he was so down to earth. And I mean, just get to see people in their setting, man, and just like relaxed and, doing their thing. It was super fucking cool. I mean, absolutely coolest thing I've ever done.
And I'll say this, for the first time I went, I've been around folks that have played in the NFL and NBA and stuff like that from a sports perspective. But the bass community with the folks that are up in the upper echelons of the stardom, they're so approachable. I mean,
dude, Bill Dance was there.
Yeah.
Just chilling, talking to people.
Yeah. I mean, all of them. And Matt Pangrack, who's been on the show, which Alex missed. Like, one of Alex's idols, I got to see and talk to Matt for a while. And, just to see that from being in the bass fishing world, these guys that are the idols or folks you look up to or folks that are put on a pedestal. I mean, they're open, they talk, they're very approachable. That is one really cool thing about this sport is it is that good old boy type of, hey man, I'm just another guy out here.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Super special. Sorry, I'm a little, you're right. One, I'm still mad that I missed Matt. That was like when I started this thing, there was like, obviously this show's for, the foundation of it is small creators, or not small content creators, and tournament guys, right? But he was one of the guys, like if I had to shoot for the moon, right? Me and Paul, when he first got on, we talked about it. Who'd be some dope people, just random. We threw out names, right? And he was one of them. And I missed that one. Now, we did get another one on the list. We had Alex Rudd about a month and a half back. And he's fucking awesome as a person. I don't wish, but like we had a long conversation even after the show. We kept talking into the night, and he's a fucking solid dude. But it's cool. You guys are absolutely right. It's cool to hit, like, most of the people who seem real, right? Quote unquote real, are actually fucking just real people.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
What Alex was about to say when he was saying he wishes and then went off of that, he was wishing Alex Rudd co-hosted this instead of me.
No. You know what's funny is I actually did listen back to that one. I had bad internet, but also I was like, holy shit, I'm on with fucking Alex Rudd. I loosened up more on his podcast because he had me on his. I loosened up more on that one. When he was on ours, I was a little fucking starstruck a little bit. It was like I watched that dude forever. I love the swing jig, and it's solely because I initially watched him fish it, and I fucking caught on to it and loved it.
So Alex, name your top 3 guests you would like to have on the podcast.
Ooh, that's a good question.
In that arena.
So so again,
Number one,
everybody
Blaine
knows.
Upton.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we can cross that one off the list. We already got him. No, it would be because obviously I'm more of a creator guy, right? So Blaine's on the show with us here, but normally I'm the creator guy. Right?
Name the
Paul is
people
our
and
tournament guy.
Quit jumping. Name them.
Mikey Balls,
Be a good one.
Christine Fisher, and Greg Blanchard.
All right. So when Alex is gone the next go round,
Oh, you son of a bitch! Oh, Paul, I fucking hate you. You son of a bitch.
Look, you shouldn't be retiring and going off on these trips or you ain't got no internets.
Listen, this is the last one. I'm literally looking at the clock. 5 months, 6 days left till retirement.
That's what you said at the last 8-month tour.
Listen, I can only do what I can do. Uncle Sam gets to decide most of my fate. So
Thank you for your
You know
service,
what?
by the
oh,
way.
thanks,
Alex.
Blaine. I appreciate that.
Dude.
Thank you.
I've already told him, so I'm not telling him again. But if
Actually, Paul's never said that. At one point in time, he said that he hates the troops. That's what he fucking said.
That's a lie. Jeez, don't y'all listen to Alex. Yes, he can't even spell his own name. Bitch got an X at the end of it. We all know that shit should end with a C.
All right, Blaine, you ready? This is the shotgun round. You've listened to a couple episodes. All right, so there are a couple rules, and
Don't fuck up because this could end your career. New Canoe's probably calling you Friday at 6:00, 2 hours after this drops, and telling you, "Hey, look, man, you have to go to Hobie because we can't have debauchery on our team."
But here's the thing: we've had some guests. We've had some guests get real liberal with this, so I want to make sure we're clear. Shotgun round, it's a blast. It's right away, right?
Right.
This is right away, and maybe you can give an explanation. But there's no humming and hawing. It's maybe you I don't know, maybe you shit your pants in school and you had to go talk to that psychologist, right? And they show you the little ink blots.
Right.
It's just a story from Paul's childhood.
Got
But
it. Jesus.
I mean, it's just right away.
Only one
Gotta
person
hit you with
shit
it
their
quick.
pants on this episode, unless Blaine did and didn't tell us, and that's Alex, and he was like 34 years old.
All right, man. This is
In
the
his
Master
kayak.
Brews. I
Yeah, the
did.
Hobie,
That's a
there's a
whole
big
nother
old-
story.
There's a big old dookie hole in the middle of the Hobie. I don't have to worry about dooking in the kayak because there's a whole lot to stinky off of.
Yeah, I did.
Or
I did
actually-
shit myself in the kayak.
Actually,
Oh,
it's stable enough. I can hang
no.
off that ass off the edge.
No, the Old Town's stable enough too. I was just an idiot. There's a whole listen. You can go to
Premature.
Jigs and listen. You can go to Jigs and Bigs. Almost 2 years ago, I told the whole story on a podcast. Or you can go to the Bass and Brews TikTok, and I have a 6-part series where I break down the whole story.
Oh, mercy.
But this is the shotgun round. Are you ready, Blaine? That's right. Get yourself ready.
Shotgun.
There it is. Texas or Wacky Rig?
Texas.
All right. Slow jams or hype music?
Hype music.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Fuck no.
Hello.
Yep, episode's over. No. Crocs or flops?
Flops all day long. I'd rather have that tan.
I'd rather have that tan. Hold on, he wanted to go for the tan level. I'd rather have that.
Bro,
tan.
it gives me arrows to point the way to walk whenever I'm hammered. I mean, it's the easiest thing ever.
That's the best explanation I've heard of that.
No, but when your flops get wet, your feet are sliding out of them trying to pull your boat up the ramp.
No, you're right.
He didn't ask what situation I was wearing.
You're right.
in.
You're right. I didn't. You got a 4-hour fishing session, right?
Mhm.
Would you rather take 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
You know, I'll give the same answer everybody has. Depends on the situation. Tournament,
Nope,
five twos.
No,
Can't do it.
no.
All right.
5 or 2.
Give me the 7, dude.
There
Give me
you
the 7.
go.
I'm gonna
There
go
you go.
home with at least a good picture.
There you
Listen,
go.
for all future guests, none of this political bullshit where you go, well, it depends
Oh, that's
on
what
if
the
I'm
no
in a
politics
tournament or
really
not.
means.
Exactly. It's that question. Yes or no? Would you eat beaver?
Yeah.
No, hold on, time out. That's not the fucking question. It's have you eaten beaver?
I always fuck that up. Well, you came up with this question when I was gone.
But
Look,
we've
I'm gonna
done
erase it
like,
from the notes.
We've done it like 18 times.
And I fuck it up every time, Paul, because I look
I
at my
know.
notes.
Jesus.
Have you eaten beaver?
Yes.
All right. How'd you eat it?
Very carefully. Right.
I don't know if you're familiar with the
Did you
Hookset
catch it?
Hoodlums
Did
members
you catch it out the river or was it in a pond?
or a gentleman's club.
River.
See,
All right,
Alex, I'm not talking about that beaver. I'm talking about the beaver that swims in the water with big old teeth that chews down trees.
I've had actual beaver at a gentleman's club, and it's the animal. It was at Bushmasters in Anchorage, Alaska. They serve beaver nuggets. So
Yeah, that's exactly. I had beaver nuggets at a really redneck fish fry,
yeah, dude.
and they were like, "We've got beaver," and just pull this thing out and start cleaning it. And I was like, "It's like wow."
Hey, you cook that thing low and slow like you do a hog, or a coon or a possum, and it's delicious.
Yeah. I've seen people smoke them, and I've seen people fry them. And I'll tell you, it was really gamey fried.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Smoke better because you pull it and it's stringy like regular old pork. It's a little tougher than regular old pork, but I would say if you were to take a chuck roast and smoke a chuck roast low and slow, smoke it now. That's kind of what beaver is, except it's a little bit darker meat and tastes a little different.
Yeah, it's got a lot of fat in it.
It does have a fuck ton of fat in it, but you have to. I mean, them bitches
Fat equals
live in
flavor,
cold
baby.
water.
Yeah.
That equals flavor. All right, I don't know how familiar you are with the Hookset Hoodlum members, specifically the founders, right? Are you familiar with them at all, or you be honest?
No.
So
Great,
then
you're
pick
gonna
the
pick
name that
this
sounds the
solely
dumbest.
on name. Solely on name.
Pick the
Which
name that's the
Hookset
stupidest.
Hoodlum? So every year they do this competition where the 3 members, which is going to be Wild Bill, Ken, aka Underwater Robberies, and then Drew. I'm sorry, I fucked that up, Drew. My bad. But I've been fucking up a ton of shit today. But they do this thing where these 3 founders of the company, whoever gets the biggest bass, gets a WWF style belt for the year.
That's badass.
Yes. So,
It's plastic.
well, it's plastic.
You just
It's-
dated yourself by saying WWF. I'd like
Yeah,
to
well,
say.
Hold on. Look.
Fair
Alex
enough.
gave-
Bro, I can
Alex-
tell you what year I was born and make you sick to your stomach.
No, you're 26. Listen, I work for people right now. I work with 2 petty officers that work for me, both female, and I'll something comes up about my age, and they go, "Well, shit. When you got in the Coast Guard, I was still in my mom's stomach. Like I've been in longer than they've been fucking alive. It's insane."
Hey, this is funny. So when Alex gave me access to all the Bass and Brews shit when he had to leave,
biggest mistake he ever made.
I might have. Look at this, because he's going to do it on the podcast. Let's hear it.
well, I've already told the Hookset Hoodlum people this, and it was
Mhm.
a long ass chat that you weren't part of. One of them was his Swamp Rat Fishing YouTube, because that's where all of our Bass and Brews got posted. I hope he's posting shit to Bass and Brews YouTube. Y'all go subscribe to Bass and Brews YouTube. But anyway, so my shit gets all mixed up, and I would be on his YouTube and blah, blah, blah. So one day I'm scrolling through, I'm like, what the fuck is all this shit? I'm thinking, what the hell's my son watching? It was all a bunch of wrestling and skateboarding videos. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look, I'm on Swamp Rat Fishing's YouTube, and I'm scrolling through looking at all the recommendations, and it's all skateboarding and WWE.
Yep. I'm a 38-year-old man trapped in a child's body. So, like 2 years ago, for some reason, I got back into professional wrestling. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. I don't give a shit. Actually, I do. It's super embarrassing because I don't even like the wrestling. I just want the soap opera portions. I just want dude yelling at dude because this dude fucked this dude's wife, but then this dude's also like a ghost or some shit. And then this guy, like, I'm not on steroids, but I am. Like, I fucking love it.
I'm not on steroids, but I am.
But the skateboarding is a fucking midlife crisis that happened and still active. Like, you see it. Look, that one's got a rat on it.
Hey, that picture that you took of you trying to do an ollie, one of my greatest ever. Speaking of wrestling, y'all go check out Drew. Him and his son do local wrestling. His son's into wrestling, and they do it local. Drew from Paddler's Playbook.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got to carry this. Blaine's got to go tinkle.
Yeah,
he didn't announce it, so I announced it for him.
He's got to go potty.
You got to go tinkle. Look, Drew from Paddler's Playbook, him and his son they go to these local wrestling, and this is like the way he described it to me is these dudes got off from the meal at 6 o'clock, and at 7 o'clock they're in a ring wrestling.
Yeah,
y'all have got to go. This shit is awesome. This is like the old school wrestling in the backyard, but somebody has a real ring. You gotta go check that out. Paddler's Playbook. Drew, Chris, they're good shit. So they were guests on the podcast. Were you here for that one?
No, I was not. I missed that.
Oh my god,
yeah,
man,
I know.
Missed it. That was a good one. They were also the ones that gave us 8 disclaimers on their podcast.
They did. All right, so but Blaine, you're still on the hook. Which Wild Bill, underwater robberies, or reeling in life, Drew? Which one's gonna catch the biggest bass?
I'm gonna go Wild Bill. Only reason being, dude, I go with the names, and the only reason is there's a body man that works for us. I work in a body shop. Name Wild Bill.
Yeah.
He works.
What kind of piercings do y'all do?
A different look. See, that was someone's asked me that before too. Yeah, no, auto body. But no, he works at a different body shop. But dude, people have told me stories about Wild Bill, and the dude needs help, so let's hope Wild Bill catches the largest
Listen,
fish.
this guy should change his name because it's not Wild, it's Mild Bill. He's not that
Mild
exciting.
Bill.
Yeah.
But also, that's a good guess because the other two, he's already caught the biggest one out of those 3. The other 2 ain't going to make it happen unless they travel. And they don't travel.
They don't travel.
They're on their yachts in Lake Pennsylvania or wherever the fuck some of the northern lakes are. I don't know.
Dude, Paul, did you see
that? Almost
clip?
Sounds like Florida.
Did you see the clip with fucking Ken in the paddle boat? Like, that's what he's rocking now. He took it all that big work. His fucking paddle boat. Also, friend of the show, and we're going to bite off him a little bit. Alex Rudd. Do you think he's overrated or underrated? Or do you not know who he is?
Oh, shit.
No idea who he is. I'll be completely honest. I have no idea who he is.
Oh,
you don't know who he is? That's perfectly fine, dude.
So he said Alex Rudd is overrated.
He did.
I wasn't trying to, but I mean, I don't know who that is.
I'm going to keep that on there. I'm going to send it directly to him because I think it's hilarious.
Wow.
No, he's a good dude. He's a YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Alex is man. Like, oh, yeah, he's a tuber.
Yeah. 55-hour work weeks and stuff like that.
All right. The most important question. This is the one that is either going to end this conversation in tears or in fucking celebratory trumpets.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Every good fisherman. All right, Paul.
You going to record this or something?
I don't know what he's going to do. We're going to. Oh, I think he's pulling up past answers, maybe.
You forgot a question.
I got them all. No, I got them all.
No.
Okay,
no.
Which one did I miss, Paul?
Blaine, do you eat largemouth bass?
I do not. Man, I will be honest.
You ain't from South Carolina. Go back to fucking West Central, North Carolina.
There you go.
Man, I don't eat most freshwater fish, and it's not because of anything other than the fact I heard you say you can get it out of there if you do it right. But nobody's ever made it or taught me to make any freshwater fish that doesn't taste like fucking dirt, dude. I mean, I mean, I'll eat saltwater fish all day long.
See, that's why you weigh 90 pounds because you don't know how to eat freshwater fish.
6'8", 90 pounds now.
Here we go.
I mean,
just getting taller and skinnier by the minute.
I know. I mean, It's amazing that 9.8 pound on a rusty scale bass ain't break your ass in half.
All right, every good fisherman loves a sandwich on the water.
Hey, are you sure you didn't forget something, Alex?
Paul, you're killing me here. Paul.
You have all these. Alex is so mad right now. At the end of this, he's gonna send me text. And he's like, "Dude, you fucked it." Look, I'm getting a text right now from Alex. Let me read it out loud.
There's no text from me.
It says, "Ha ha."
Every good fisherman loves a sandwich. What are your top 3? It's very important. Make sure you understand the question. Your top 3 sandwich proteins.
Proteins. Okay.
Spell it.
All right. I'm going fried chicken because everybody loves a good Chick-fil-A sandwich on the water.
Fuck yeah.
Second. All right. Southern style. I don't want no Kansas City, none of that. I want Maurice's or something from South Carolina barbecue, dude.
Okay.
Milk the nipples. Milk the nipples.
Dude. I mean, I'm all about some good barbecue.
Mm.
And lastly, prime rib is probably one of my favorite things on a sandwich.
This
Blaine,
has been the most bougie. I mean, not even bougie. Can we say that? The bougiest three
Dude,
we've had.
Dude,
Blaine,
I go all
Blaine
out.
is
If I'm
rich.
gonna make myself something on the water, no, hell no, I am not. But if I'm
This
making myself something on the water, it's gonna be something good.
I like
This
it.
young man talking about eating fucking prime rib sandwiches and talking about I ain't rich.
Well, I mean, but it ain't gotta be like high grade prime ribs. So like we've got this place downtown called No Name Deli, and they make you a prime rib sandwich, but it ain't your like rare like red prime beef. It's
Blaine,
steak,
be
and it's
careful.
like,
It sounds like
that's
this
steak.
sandwich shot could be a sponsor. You could be a deli sponsored professional fisherman.
really good, Bo. Really good. I'm telling you. But no,
Blaine
man,
be getting his prime ribs from the dumpster out back.
yeah, I'll be honest, Bo. I just hate fucking deli meat. I really do. Deli meat's just gross.
What?
Yeah, man. Like I don't know. I'm weird about it. I really
Hey,
am. But
Hey,
I love deli
Blaine,
meat.
we had one episode is before I came on where Alex tried to make he was going to start making sandwiches, people told, and eat them. And what the fuck was it? Was it
Fucking
what was
liverwurst, bro.
Yeah.
Liverwurst.
He did.
It was that was the episode with Big Nasty.
you ever have
Yeah.
a fluffer nutter?
I've had that before. That's one. I hate marshmallow. So you know what? I should make a sandwich again on camera, a fluffer nutter. Because the consistency. But Big Nasty, not only did he say liverwurst, and I was like, what the fuck? The next day, my man sent me texted me a video of him making exactly how to make this sandwich, right? So I recorded it. I've never had liverwurst before. It was fucking rough. If anybody wants to see that video, it's on the Swamp Rat Fishing channel.
Fucking rough.
It's fucking rough. It tasted like cat food covered in mustard. It was fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
I ate that whole fucking sandwich.
I made a video 2 years ago of pickles and watermelon and mayonnaise.
What?
And it was fucking delicious.
Man,
Dude. Oh.
Hey,
no.
Have you ever had salt on watermelon?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You
salt
talk about
and
people.
pepper.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a southern thing. In the north, I just learned about it. I'm 38 years old. I just learned it out on this patrol from the southern guy that I work with. He's like, yo, put some salt, a little pepper on that bitch, and it's fucking amazing. It's changed my life.
Blaine,
Yeah,
you
dude.
got to understand, the watermelon he gets up north ain't even red. That shit's like pink.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
They
pink.
don't get to eat no watermelon for Chesterfield County. They don't get to eat no red watermelon.
You're right, I
Preach.
don't.
Well, you're speaking my language now. I mean, golly. You talk about me not eating, and then you want to sit here and talk about food? Come on now.
Well, I mean, obviously you don't eat what you say you eat.
I
or
think
you wouldn't
Paul
weigh
is
88
just talking
pounds.
Paul's just talking about food because he's hungry. He's big boy has been cutting weight, so he's hungry.
Oh, man. I've been there, done that. I know how it feels, man. I do. The 3-day fast, dude, fuck everything about that. There ain't no way. There
Oh
ain't
man,
no way.
you will never.
You guys
be
ever
so
try
dialed
just
in.
working out and not being fat? Maybe that'll help. That's what I
Well,
do.
hey, Hey, a year from
Gym
now,
once a day.
Blaine, we're gonna bring you on a year from now when Alex has been out the Coast Guard.
Oh,
and
that's
he don't have to pass no test.
No shit. That's probably going to be
And
real.
he's a stay-at-home dad, and we're gonna see how much weight he's gained because he was kind of fat as fuck before he left, and he got skinny. If you listen to the last episode, you'll hear that the food was so terrible on his boat, he lost 30 pounds.
I lost 30 pounds.
I heard you saying that because the last guy y'all had on was a cook, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. You know, it's funny. He keeps sending me texts of like the wonderful things he's cooking. And I'm like, hey, dickhead, you want to come to my boat? And it's just like,
Exactly.
But he ain't even
fuck the garbage you own. Check this out.
Yeah.
But Chris Wins the Kayak ain't even on a damn boat. He's on the land. What kind of fucking Coast Guard cook is that?
I love that you butcher everybody's names. You got Chris Wins the Kayak. It's a Mandy, not Amanda. It's the best. But he's at a small boat station. He's doing good work over there.
Yeah.
They got a mission too. It's not as good as Cutter guys because we're the real Coast Guard. But at least it's better than aviation because those rotor heads can go suck a dick. On that note, Blaine, it's been great having you on. We're definitely going to have you on again. It was a really good conversation. I'm so glad that you reached out to us on TikTok. This is what it's about, folks. Like, this is where we're using social media for the right reasons. So thank you so much. I'd like to hang out for just a minute. We'll do the green room. And everybody, thanks. Make sure you hit up. We got Patreon up. And we got that new merch out, the Certified Brewskis shirts and mugs. Paul, send them out. Paul. What do you got?
Hey, y'all look. Hooked Up North. Go get my face on your breast.